ground trembles as a glacier collapses into icy waters, sending waves crashing onto the shore. A tornado tears through a quiet town, hurling cars like toys and turning homes into rubble. In another corner of the world, a sandstorm swallows an entire village, plunging it into darkness in seconds. These moments, caught on camera, show nature at its most breathtaking and terrifying. If you could witness the raw power of the planet, would you dare to look?
Machine, what the f? Yeah, a tornado. Wow. Hey,
¡Guarda, guarda, 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 guarda! ¡Fuera, fuera, fuera, fuera! ¡Fuera!
There we go.
The power of storms. Storms have a way of taking the familiar and turning it into chaos. One moment, you're standing in calm weather, and the next, the sky darkens. The wind roars and nature unleashes its fury. The power of storms can be both mesmerizing and terrifying, as captured in jaw-dropping footage from around the world. In Calgary, Alberta, a summer day in 2016 became a scene of destruction when hailstones the size of tennis balls rained down without warning. Streets filled with the sound of ice smashing against metal as car windshields shattered and rooftops dented under the relentless barrage. For those caught outside, there was little to do but scramble for cover. One remarkable video shows a man pulling a child to safety just as the hail begins to fall. A heart-stopping moment of courage amid the chaos. Halfway across the world in Mumbai, India, a different kind of storm turned the city upside down. On May 13th, strong winds and torrential rain lashed the city, causing widespread disruption. Local trains ground to a halt, and the streets became rivers of rushing water. One particularly striking video shows a massive billboard collapsing in Ghatkopar, injuring several people and scattering debris across the street. It was a stark reminder of how even a bustling city like Mumbai can grind to a halt when nature decides to take over. In São Paulo, Brazil, a fierce, gusty storm in 2024 left an unforgettable mark. Winds ripped through the city, tearing off roofs and uprooting trees. What stood out most in the footage was a group of neighbors working together to secure a fallen power line, ensuring no one was injured while waiting for emergency services to arrive. Their teamwork in the face of such destruction was inspiring. Then there's the story from Georgia, where a colossal shelf cloud loomed over the horizon, looking like it was about to swallow the entire landscape. The footage captured the eerie beauty of the storm, with its dark, rolling clouds moving ominously toward the town. It's the kind of moment that reminds you just how small we are compared to the forces of nature. These storms didn't just leave destruction in their wake, they also revealed moments of incredible human resilience. Whether it's strangers pulling together to help one another, or people finding the courage to act in the face of danger, these stories show that even in the most chaotic moments, humanity's spirit shines through.
And look out, like, our street is starting to flood.
That's good.
Tornadoes in action. Tornadoes are some of nature's most unpredictable and terrifying forces, capable of turning a peaceful day into a scene of destruction within moments. In 2024, they were caught on camera in all their ferocious glory, giving us a glimpse into their raw power and the chaos they bring. In Guangzhou, China, a tornado made its way through the bustling city, leaving a trail of fire and terror. This wasn't just any tornado. It whipped up fireballs from exposed power cables, lighting up the streets like a scene out of an apocalyptic movie. The whirlwind lasted only 4 minutes, but those 4 minutes were enough to change everything in its path. People ran for cover as sparks and flames lit the sky, and the footage shows the sheer panic and disbelief of onlookers. It's hard to forget the moment when nature's fury collided with the modern cityscape, reminding everyone how vulnerable even the most developed places can be. Across the globe in Kit Carson, Colorado, another tornado stole the show. This massive funnel cloud was caught on camera by a daring individual who seemed more intent on documenting the storm than seeking safety. The video captures the tornado's eerie beauty as it tears through open fields, its dark, swirling shape contrasting against the flat horizon. What makes tornadoes like this so captivating and so terrifying is how they seem to move with a mind of their own, shifting direction in an instant and catching even seasoned storm chasers off guard. For those living in Kit Carson, it was a day to remember as the tornado left behind uprooted trees, damaged homes, and a community determined to rebuild. Then there's Ellie, the F5 tornado that made history in Manitoba, Canada. Ellie wasn't just a tornado, it was the first and only F5 ever recorded in Canadian history. With winds exceeding 320 kilometers per hour, Ellie tore through the countryside, flattening everything in its path. A family's home, once a symbol of safety, was reduced to rubble in minutes. Remarkably, the family survived, huddled in their basement while the storm raged above. The footage of Ellie's aftermath is haunting, showing the sheer scale of destruction and the fragility of human structures in the face of such power. What sets tornadoes apart from other natural disasters is their unpredictability. Unlike hurricanes or floods, tornadoes can form with little warning, giving people only moments to react. The videos from 2024 capture this unpredictability, along with the raw emotions of those who experience these storms: fear, awe, and ultimately, relief at having survived.
I hope it's getting it on the camera. I can't even see the screen. Holy.
The rage of floods. Floods are some of the most devastating natural disasters, with the power to reshape entire landscapes in a matter of hours. They strike without mercy, leaving behind destruction, despair, and a stark reminder of nature's overwhelming force. In 2024, the rage of floods was captured in chilling detail, showing us how water, usually a source of life, can become a force of chaos. In the deserts of Oman, flash floods transformed the arid landscape into a raging torrent. Oman is a place known for its dry climate, where rain is scarce and the ground is ill-prepared to absorb water. But when the skies opened up with sudden, heavy rainfall, it unleashed torrents of water that swept through desert valleys, or wadis, with incredible speed. Video footage shows strong currents tearing through these areas, carrying away vehicles and uprooting anything in their path. What's most haunting is the speed. What starts as a trickle grows into a deadly surge within moments. People caught in the path of these floods had to scramble for higher ground, with some narrowly escaping the rushing water. The aftermath was equally devastating, with debris strewn across roads and communities left grappling with the loss of property and livelihoods. In Brazil, the story was just as grim but played out in a different setting. Torrential rains triggered massive landslides, especially in areas where unstable geological conditions made the mountainsides vulnerable. Entire hillsides collapsed, sending mud and debris rushing down into towns below. The scenes were heart-wrenching, homes buried, roads wiped out, and communities left isolated. Videos captured the sheer scale of the destruction, with people desperately trying to salvage belongings and rescue neighbors trapped in the mud. Recovery efforts were slow and grueling as the rain continued to pose a threat. For Brazil, these floods and landslides were a harsh reminder of how vulnerable many areas are to extreme weather, especially as climate change amplifies these events. In Dubai, floods took a more urban twist. Water swept through bustling night markets, forcing vendors and customers to flee for safety. What makes these scenes so striking is the contrast. Brightly lit stalls filled with life and activity, suddenly overtaken by rushing water. The videos show tables and wares being swept away, while people seek refuge in nearby shops, waiting for the water to recede. When the floodwaters finally ebbed, they left behind an eerie silence, with debris and mud marking the spaces where life had thrived just hours earlier. Volcanoes and eruptions. Volcanoes are nature's way of reminding us of the immense power hidden beneath the Earth's surface. They erupt with both breathtaking beauty and devastating force, turning the landscape into a mix of wonder and chaos. In 2024, their fury was captured on video, showcasing moments of awe-inspiring destruction and leaving behind unforgettable stories. On the Lacombe Glacier Tour, visitors expecting a serene trip through icy landscapes were met with a spectacle they'd never forget. As they stood marveling at the towering glaciers, a massive chunk of ice suddenly broke away with a deafening crack. The block, as tall as a building, tumbled down into the water below, sending up a wave that rippled across the icy expanse. The sound of the collapse echoed through the valley, leaving the onlookers stunned. Some described it as both terrifying and beautiful, a moment where nature's raw power was on full display. Thankfully, no one was injured, but the sheer scale of the event served as a reminder of how unpredictable and dangerous these icy giants can be. Meanwhile, in southern China, an entirely different kind of eruption was making headlines: volcanic mud. Unlike fiery explosions, mud eruptions have a surreal, almost alien quality. Videos from the region show thick, bubbling mud seeping out of the ground, creating strange, otherworldly landscapes. While the visual spectacle drew curiosity, the danger was real. The mudflows consumed roads and fields, trapping anything in their path and posing serious risks to nearby communities. Experts warned against venturing too close, as the hot, sticky mud could cause serious harm. But perhaps the most dramatic volcanic event of 2024 was Mount Semeru in Indonesia. Already infamous for its activity, Semeru unleashed an eruption that left entire villages buried under a blanket of ash. The eruption sent massive ash clouds high into the sky, darkening the horizon and raining debris over a wide area. Drone footage captured haunting scenes of villages turned into ghost towns. Rooftops barely visible under layers of gray ash, and streets eerily silent. For those who lived nearby, it was a race against time to evacuate before the pyroclastic flows. A deadly mix of hot gas, ash, and rocks descended the mountainside. The aftermath of Semeru's eruption was devastating. Entire communities were displaced, their homes and livelihoods destroyed. But what stood out was the resilience of the people, who banded together to help each other through the crisis. Relief efforts poured in, and while the road to recovery was long, the determination to rebuild was unwavering. Earthquakes and avalanches. Earthquakes and avalanches are two of nature's most jarring forces, capable of reshaping the land in moments and leaving people stunned in their wake. In 2024, these disasters reminded us once again of the Earth's sheer unpredictability, with events that shook cities, terrified tourists, and sent warnings rippling across oceans. In Ishikawa, Japan, the ground beneath people's feet became a sudden, violent threat. A massive earthquake, the strongest recorded in the region since 1885, struck without warning, leaving residents and tourists scrambling for safety. Buildings swayed ominously, some collapsing into piles of rubble, while others stood cracked and teetering. The sounds of shattering glass, groaning metal, and panicked cries filled the air. Over 1,200 aftershocks followed the initial quake, each one a haunting reminder that the danger wasn't over. For many, the most chilling part was the tsunami warning issued shortly after, a stark echo of the 2011 Tohoku disaster. Though the waves never came, the fear of what could have been lingered in every heart. On the other side of the world in Vermont, tourists enjoying a serene winter escape found themselves caught in a sudden avalanche. A peaceful ski run turned into chaos as a wall of snow roared down the mountainside. Videos show skiers and snowboarders desperately fleeing, their bright jackets stark against the blinding white of the cascading snow. The sheer power of the avalanche was overwhelming, snapping trees like twigs and engulfing everything in its path. Rescue teams worked tirelessly to ensure everyone was accounted for, their efforts a testament to the human spirit's resilience, even in the face of nature's fury. Meanwhile, in Argentina, the iconic Perito Moreno Glacier suffered a gut-wrenching collapse. Towering ice walls, centuries in the making, crumbled into the sapphire waters below, creating waves that rippled through the fjord. The crash was thunderous, a sound that seemed to echo the finality of the moment. For those lucky or unlucky enough to witness it, the sight was both awe-inspiring and heartbreaking. The collapse served as a vivid reminder of the fragility of these natural wonders in the face of changing climates and shifting landscapes. These disasters, though vastly different, share a common thread. They reveal just how small and vulnerable we are when the Earth decides to move. Whether it's the shaking ground in Japan, the rushing snow in Vermont, or the collapsing ice in Argentina, the power of these events leaves us humbled. At the same time, they highlight the resilience of those who survive, rebuild, and find ways to move forward. Sandstorms and dust devils. Sandstorms and dust devils are eerie forces of nature, capable of transforming serene landscapes into scenes of chaos and destruction. With little warning, they rise up, carrying the power to disrupt lives and leave a lasting impression. In 2024, these atmospheric phenomena were caught on camera in dramatic detail, reminding us that even the very air we breathe can become a force to be reckoned with. In Inner Mongolia, a massive sandstorm engulfed entire villages, turning day into a strange, apocalyptic night. The footage is haunting, towering clouds of sand rolling in, swallowing everything in their path. Buildings disappeared into the swirling orange haze, and the sky grew darker with every passing second. People scrambled to get indoors, closing windows and doors against the onslaught. Streets that were bustling with life moments earlier became eerily silent as the storm blotted out the sun and left the air thick with dust. For those caught outside, the storm was a terrifying ordeal. Breathing became difficult, and visibility dropped to almost nothing. Cars came to a standstill on roads, unable to navigate through the swirling sand. The aftermath was equally shocking. Roofs covered in thick layers of dust, vehicles buried, and homes infiltrated by the fine grains of sand. What stood out the most was the sheer scale of the storm. It was a stark reminder of how quickly nature can assert its dominance, even over places that seem far removed from disaster. In China, another event unfolded that highlighted the unpredictable danger of wind. A dust devil, seemingly harmless at first, suddenly gained strength and swept through a children's playground. In an instant, it lifted an inflatable, bouncy house high into the air, with children still inside. The sight was both horrifying and surreal, as the colorful structure spiraled upward, carried by the spinning vortex. Parents and bystanders shouted in panic, running to try to catch the children as the bouncy house came crashing back down. Thankfully, most of the children escaped with only minor injuries, but the incident left a profound impact on everyone who witnessed it. It served as a wake-up call about the importance of securing play equipment in open spaces, especially in regions prone to sudden wind events. The dust devil may have been small compared to a full-blown sandstorm, but its consequences were no less devastating. Sandstorms and dust devils might seem like minor inconveniences compared to hurricanes or earthquakes, but their power shouldn't be underestimated. They disrupt lives in ways that go beyond the immediate event. Crops are damaged, machinery breaks down, and respiratory illnesses spike as people struggle to cope with the aftermath. These events remind us of the delicate balance between humanity and nature, where even the wind can become a force of destruction. What's striking about sandstorms and dust devils is how they transform the familiar into something otherworldly. A bustling village or a cheerful playground can become unrecognizable in minutes, wrapped in swirling chaos. And yet, these events also reveal the resilience of those who endure them. Whether it's communities rebuilding after a sandstorm or parents hugging their children after a terrifying dust devil, the human spirit persists.
Let's go.
We will get taken too.
Oh my gosh.
Bennett!
get out the water.
Human stories and resilience. When natural disasters strike, they often leave behind a trail of destruction that can feel overwhelming. But in the midst of all the chaos and loss, there's something remarkable that always shines through: human resilience. It's the stories of people coming together, rebuilding, and finding hope in the darkest moments that remind us of the incredible strength of the human spirit. After the devastating floods in Brazil, entire communities were left buried in mud and debris. Homes were destroyed, roads were impassable, and families were forced to flee to safer ground. But the days that followed showed the best of humanity. Neighbors formed human chains to dig through the wreckage, searching for survivors and salvaging whatever they could. Relief workers set up makeshift shelters, offering food and a place to sleep for those who had lost everything. One man's story stood out: a father who had saved his 2 children by carrying them on his back through waist-deep water. His determination to protect his family became a symbol of hope for others facing similar struggles. In Japan, after the massive earthquake in Ishikawa, entire neighborhoods were flattened, and aftershocks left people terrified to return to their homes. Yet amidst the rubble, stories of unity emerged. Strangers opened their doors to those displaced by the quake, sharing food, blankets, and companionship. Local businesses transformed into relief centers, offering their spaces to store supplies or provide shelter. The images of volunteers clearing debris, comforting the elderly, and distributing necessities were powerful reminders of the strength found in collective action. The 2024 tornado in Kit Carson, Colorado, left the town in shambles with uprooted trees and homes reduced to piles of wood and debris. But the way the community rallied together was nothing short of inspiring. Families hosted barbecues to feed first responders, and local contractors worked tirelessly to repair damaged homes, often without charging a dime. A group of teenagers organized a fundraiser, selling baked goods and handmade crafts to raise money for rebuilding efforts. Their actions showed that no matter your age or resources, everyone can make a difference. Even in the most unexpected places, resilience shines. On Kangaroo Island in Australia, after the brutal wildfires that destroyed so much of the landscape, residents turned to reforestation and wildlife rescue efforts. Volunteers built shelters for displaced animals and planted thousands of native trees. Slowly but surely, the island began to heal, its scars becoming a testament to both nature's recovery and human dedication. These stories remind us that disasters don't just bring destruction, they also bring out the best in people. The videos of these events may capture the power of nature, but they also capture the strength of humanity. Each person lending a hand, each community rebuilding brick by brick, shows that even when faced with overwhelming odds, people find ways to persevere. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about adapting, learning, and growing. Disasters teach hard lessons, like the importance of preparedness, the need for stronger infrastructure, and the value of community. But they also remind us of something deeper, that when everything feels lost, we have each other. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.